Yes, y'all. Yes, y'all. I'm old school, but I keep it funky fresh, y'all. And this is deep, y'all. I'm from the deep, y'all. And what you get is what you motherfucking see.
Welcome back, humans! You know what day it is. My name is Jaime, giving you events on headlines that you didn't even know you needed. And with that said, let's get on with some vents, shall we, humans? I think I need a fight bell ring sound effect when that comes on. So I'm like, with that said, let's get on with some vents. And I'll be like, bing, like round one. Round one of the vents. Fight! Some shit like that. But anyways, with crime on the rise, there's a lot of crime on the rise, violence on the rise, and these recent shootings that have been happening. I think our government has seemed to find a real good solution, to solve these problems, since the problems were so big and so huge, and it should be number one on the list. I'm sure it is. But their solution was, let's hire more IRS people so we can, at the same time of raising our taxes. I think that's what's going to fix everything. Raising our taxes and hiring a whole IRS army is going to fix everything. I don't know if the IRS army is the answer. Not for us anyways. I feel like they're just going to target our banks and maybe, every money we try to save for ourselves or for our retirements, they're probably going to try to pinch at it and take it away or something. Or make some rule why they can take it. They're like, oh, it looks like you could retire really good. You're going to get a penalty. Something like that. You're like, your retirement looks like you did a great job. You're getting a penalty. It's like, sorry, I couldn't do illegal China deals just like you to get a good retirement. You should get a penalty. But humans, it doesn't work that way. But that's what I meant when I said, if we keep saying yes to certain things, they'll just keep wanting more. If we say, so, yes, okay, yes. And then they're going to take more and more from us every single time we don't. And we're out in the, and then we're as shit out of luck, And it's kind of scary when you think about it, because what do we expect? I mean, these people are the ones who make the rules. I mean, they can print money out of nowhere. So basically they can buy whatever the hell they want and make whatever they want. Basically, because they can be like, oh, we need another quadrillion dollars to give to another country. And we need another another billions of dollars to give somebody else again. And we're going to continue to give them this much money, and it's not costing us a penny. All this crap, they always say that shit. But I don't know. This is it's kind of messed up, like I said, but what do we expect, man? They're the ones who make it. They can just print money all day, all day. Which is very, very creepy. I don't know, man. I feel like they're just going out of control with it now. They're just a little out of hand with it. They got their multiple hands in the cookie jar now. It's just they're going to run out of cookies. You keep putting your hands in there so much, there's going to be no more cookies left. And we're what are we going to eat? Shit. They're already talking about this food shit all the time. You notice they're pushing that a lot. All these, like I said, what I call them, those distractions and everything. Which brings me to, which brings me to my title, which I feel like this world is a huge stage. Everybody's always we're in a simulation. We're in a simulation. But technically, we could be in some sort of a matrix. I believe this is a metaphor for a matrix, or if this is a form of a matrix, and is what we're living in right now. We're made to believe that we're in a free democracy and things like that, and we really probably aren't. We probably aren't. And they're trying to take away more things, from our little rat mazes that we have out here in the world. And we're starting to realize maybe we weren't, this whole time. Or maybe they really weren't trying to want us to be this way or something. But, like I said, this could be a weird matrix because they give us the image or the illusion of that type of thing that's going on. Or to give us this image of these different worlds. There's different worlds and they're right in front of us. And that's what I mean by in my feeling, that's the matrix. That's the matrix. There's these different worlds in every different part of in our today world, right now and today, we experience different worlds everywhere in our lives every day. And what I mean by that is like, let's say you have different forms of like these matrices. Like what I meant, like I just mean like it's a metaphor of like the different worlds that are in different things they show us, like the world stage. You know, what they show us and what's really happening is a whole different thing. Like when you from entertainment, when you got like sports, like all your favorite athletes, to actors, musicians, even like to secret societies. Those are worlds that we have known nothing about, but all we have is the image of what we believe it is from these like articles and conspiracy theorists and the made up rumors and the real whatever is real or fake about these. We know they're there and they're real, but the what's true and what's fake. What you have to cipher from, and those are like, and then there's the real thing. The real thing that's happening behind closed doors of those secret societies of a world we have no clue on. Then that's why they keep this matrix of us to keep us out of that world. They don't want us to even touch or get a little glimpse of what's inside. And you see, some people gave some glimpses of that, like Bohemian Grove back in the day, and if that was tied into those secret societies, and those are things they didn't want you to see. You know what I mean? And those were, so in front of us, we were just shown, the violence on the news and the crazy things we see on our TVs every day, and all the riots and all these forms of separation and, this and that and all this divide and conquer, while these guys are doing all these secret, robe, rituals and weird shit. So that's why I feel like they're giving us that matrix. It's like a form of a program. There are secret societies out there, and people like in entertainment also. You see, they look like they're in this lavish lifestyle. Like you see these rappers and rocking all this jewelry and like all these fancy cars, and they're around all these women and stuff like that. And then, even like the singers, like R&B singers or pop singers and pop stars, like Britney Spears and so on. There's many people you can go on, like all kinds of rock stars. You see a lot of those guys crash and burn, and or some of them that make it through, and then they come out and they start talking about what they went through as they to get their deals, or what they did to hold to get their money, and what they what they had to do to stay in that entertainment realm and business and stay on top and stay relevant and stay like on the charts and being everybody wanting more of you. So they say there was like a lot of things supposedly rumored that were ritualistic things that were happening to keep them and their career afloat. But all we get to see is the performance and the stuff we love and the songs we love when they sing, and all them dance moves and the pretty outfits and the awesome rock songs that you're going to headbang to or start a mosh pit, and start crowd surfing with, and you just don't know. And that's what I'm talking about when I mean like there's just different worlds all the time, and that's what I mean by the Matrix, or like how they program things to keep us divided and conquered are another forms of the Matrix, because if they're not, I mean, they're rumored to be illusions just thrown in front of our faces, from, like when you got the interview of like Aaron Russo, that former director or whatever, who was assassinated, I believe. Told some crazy stories in an interview a long time ago when he was talking about, meeting some of these big bankers that were trying to, plot all these things that seem to be happening now. It seemed like these puzzle pieces he was speaking of are starting to happen now. And it's kind of creepy in a way because the guy's not here anymore. And they probably, because he was affiliated and did an interview with Alex Jones, probably discredited him altogether. Who cares about his the movies and good projects and awesome movies that he did and big projects he worked on? Who cares, because he worked with Alex Jones, so now it doesn't matter. He did an interview, so now everything's just like not true. But everything like seems to be happening like right in order. Like the way he kind of explains it in this interview, it's really creepy. And but we're given this illusion, like I said, and we don't know what, because like I said, we're only given what we see in front. And so you see these certain people come out of the entertainment realm and start saying it was these crazy things they had to do, and then you hear people say, no, that's not really what happens. And then you see interviews with, you got like Kevin Hart and Kelly Clarkson on a show together, and you see Kevin Hart doing the little shut up talk. When she goes, you mean people didn't offer you like money to do something you didn't want to do? And he was like, oh, shut up. No, that didn't happen. Like there's just, that's the world. That's what I mean. That's like the Matrix. Like, nope, you got to only see being funny guy. You can't see that fucking dark shit. So, You don't know. And that's what I mean by that. That's what I mean by those different worlds. There's just different worlds all the time. And many of us are afraid of what happens. And a lot of us, probably wouldn't take a stand on something like this because we're afraid of what would happen without the power of the government. Like, say, like the government had no more control, right? And maybe that was the goal. Was that the goal? Like to give them like no power at all. And now I don't know about overthrowing the government or something serious like that, but like a way to like shut them down where no longer you can do anything like unless you really get our permission, like for real this time, like for real by the people, right? So when we establish something like that, how do people are afraid of what would happen after that? Okay, the government's not in charge anymore. We're so used to all these things that were happening this way. What do we do? Like, do we still go back to work tomorrow? And does the company still do the same thing? Are they going to still pay me? Like, how do we do this? Like, what happens? And so that's what I think people are be afraid of also when that would cause some resistance as to me, maybe people going out there taking a stand and getting in large numbers. But also, I feel like I said, like your news and our TV and our media push this, the divide and conquer pretty fast, which are pretty much like programs. That's why they say they call it the television programming. The program on the computer. There's a programmer. So, anyways, okay, so like they set up all these ways to divide us. Like I said, we are at war. That's another program. It's another software they put in the TV to show us all the time that, this is why this is where all our money's going over here because we're now at war again. With the enemy that we don't even know which one it is. Apparently, our gas is Russia's fault or whatever, even though our gas was going up before we even started with Russia. So who knows that's what I'm saying. Like, what's really happening while we're seeing all these stupid programs in our face. Like I said, number one, we're at war. Program number one. Another one, are we sick? That's another program. Another one, are we alone out here in the universe? Another program out there. And should we hate each other? That's the other program. Or why aren't we hating each other? Or this is why we hate each other. Those are all those are all in the same software. Those are all like point ones, and then when you do the updates and shit, like those are all the other ones in there. But that's what I feel like is happening, so we don't really look at, what could be happening in the world we should be looking at. And that's what I mean, like, as far as the Matrix. I'm not saying, like, it's like computer generated, but, I mean, they're using technology now, and it's crazy disgusting on how they can access everything. You've seen the, people talking about the way TikTok can do things and access things, and it's not stopping anybody from using it. I'm still using it too. I'm like, it doesn't really divert. I mean, it's just bananas that we're all just okay with these things. And it comes down to, like I said, they keep us away from what really could be happening. They use all these tragedies and all these things on the news to keep us afraid and keep us separated. Also, to push narratives. You hear about all these things about, like, there's so much violence on the streets and there's so many things happening. It's a gun control. We need more laws on gun control. I don't think it's laws on gun control is what we're looking for. I think it's just control, period, is what they're looking for. And I think that's the final piece, humans. I think, like I said, we keep saying yes to certain things. They're going to keep taking more things. And they want that. They're going to use everything about gun control. And it's not control. It's about control, period. They want to control us, period. And I don't think I'm alone in that thought process. I think they just want to control us, period, and by any means necessary. And so every time there's a tragedy, they're going to blame it on guns. Every time there it is, there's no more ice cream. It's because of the assault rifles. It's because of your handguns. It's because of the amounts of bullets in your pistol. It's going to be doing all these things. The weather's bad. Climate change is so bad it's because everybody keeps buying weapons. If we didn't have assault rifles, there wouldn't be climate change. Like, they're just going to blame everything on these guns till they get them out of our hands. And once they're out of our hands is when they're going to super control us. Like, that's when it's going to get, like, aggressive as hell. Like that shit you saw in Australia and shit. Just yanking kids from parents and shit. Like, it's going to get crazy if they, like I said, and that's what I believe is happening. And they're creating that form of matrix in front of us to show us that it's too wild for us, that we can't defend ourselves. Like, they're trying to make it seem like we can't handle any form of means to defend ourselves when it comes to a firearm. And that's what I feel like they're making it so extreme every time there's something that deals with firearms. They're making it as soon as it deals with the firearm, because you take it from excuse me. Because as soon as they take it from the citizen, it's still not going to take it from a criminal. Like, criminals have access to everything. Like, look when they come out with new security software, somebody hacks right by it. You know, they come out with some new technology, somebody can hack it. Every single time, like, ooh, I got this new this and that. Next week, somebody's got a way to break it and to give you all the free everything. You know, it's like, I mean, that seems to be what happens. You know what I mean? So there's no way, like, the designers of all this mess, you know what I mean? Like, that's, like I said, they want the attention away from them. I call them the designers, I feel like, because they keep it away from them so they can do all this crazy shit that's going on. And that's the real question. Do you really want to know what's going on? You know, and how do they use, one of the weapons they use, I believe, is like statistics and like polls, you know, because they all use like percentages and shit. Like, and then when certain people believe like certain, you know, percent, like one person believes this way and other people believe this way because this person believes that this much people do this and this percentage believes that this much people do this. And so we push that in our faces every day and we start to, you know, make daily choices based off of them things. You know what I mean? We're just shoving our faces and don't really realize that that's how they're, you know, kind of using it. It's kind of creepy in a way. Another program, like pap, pap, pap. They put it probably in the radio too, and like subliminal messages. No, I'm just playing. But like I said, those designers are some crafty individuals. And I think as a group, you should find ways to maybe look past some of these diversions because we know what they are. Like I said, they keep showing us, they keep trying to make it seem like we can't control ourselves. That's what I feel is the real narrative. Like I said, they can say gun control all the fuck they want because they want that out of our hands because it'll be difficult as hell for them to come control us when they're armed citizens. Like, whoa, you're going a little out of hand. This is what's about to go down. You know, and, you know, they talk about those old, you know, crazy extreme things. So when we don't have those, you know, that's when shit could get really, really real. And that's what you need to think about. Like, they really want us to be controlled, period. Like, just under, like, whatever we say, that's it. There's you know, one set of rules for everybody. I believe that's the end game. And so we got to pay attention to these designers. We got to watch out for these designers because they're coming to get us. I don't know about you humans, but I feel like all these things keep us away from looking at the actual target, which is the people who are designing all this crap, so they can get away with whatever, you know, creepy, weird things that are happening behind the scenes. So they give us that matrix, you know, so we don't see what their matrix is. And that's what I believe we need to look for, humans. And I hope you all enjoyed this episode. And if you did, I'd appreciate if you would hit that like button, smash that subscription, turn on those notifications. My name is Jaime. This has been another episode of Meant to Vent. Till next time, humans. See ya.